The fight to save girls' sports happening even across the pond, where a transgender athlete was prevented from competing over the weekend in England. The Union Cycliste Internationale, better known as the UCI, found that 21-year-old Emily Bridges was ineligible, and they prevented her from the National Omnis Championships. Now, Bridges previously rode as a male on the Great Britain Academy program. This would have been her first ride as a woman. She started hormone therapy last year and had lowered her testosterone to the requirement under British cycling's policy, but UCI can still prohibit her, as guidelines say it must guarantee fair and meaningful competition. Weighing in now is podcaster Joe Rogan. He's speaking out on the issue. He's saying that UPenn swimmer Lia Thomas, a trans woman, of course, on the swim team that won the NCAA national championship, might just end up being the woke straw to break the camel's back. Let's listen to Rogan.
What it is now is assault on women's sports. That might be the woke straw that breaks the society's camel back.
You're starting to see a lot of those now.
Women are so frustrated because if you or parents, if your daughter is competing and they're competing against a trans woman, it's not fair. It's just not fair, no matter what anybody says. There's this nonsense idea of like, well, there's outliers and all. There's outliers, and then there's biological males.
Right.
Let's welcome in our panel, Turning Point USA spokesperson Morgan Zegers. She also is the host of Freedom Papers. You want to catch that if you can. With us as well, former National Press Secretary for the Trump campaign and former Deputy Principal Press Secretary at the White House, Hogan Gidley. Great to have you both with us.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Morgan, do you think that there is, we've reached a turning point here? I mean, it comes down to the basic idea of fairness, and anyone watching Lia Thomas or any of these other transgender women participating in girls' sports can see it's just not fair.
No, that's exactly it. I'm really happy to see the athletes finally standing up, and that's why we saw that victory, like you said, across the pond. What's happening here in America, though, it's not going to stop until athletes start speaking out, parents, coaches, and honestly, the experts in the field. That's what I think is so weird to me, is that we aren't seeing the people who are very aware of the scientific body types and all of that goes into competing and making sure that there's fair competition. It should be the coaches, the athletes, the parents that are speaking out and being most vocal about it, not a bunch of political commentators and not people like Joe Rogan. But I really think that the more people speak up, the more we encourage these athletes to speak out for themselves, and that we'll have their back, we'll be in a better place.
You know, what's interesting, Hogan, is talking to people about this who aren't, super politically active. And, it's like watching them wake up to the CRT stuff as well, the critical race theory stuff. They're like, this is like, we're talking about a very small percentage of the population. This would never affect me. But then they see how it's affecting girls. And it just comes down to a simple question. Is this fair? And the data proves it's not fair.
Yeah, and I think you're so smart to bring in critical race theory, because this is just another battle that's been chosen by the left against parents in this country. Parents have children who compete in different sports, and the parents of daughters have roles in sports all across this country, in college campuses, at the high school level. And what you're seeing is that a small, tiny, vocal minority comes forward and says, no, a man should compete against your daughter. Not only that, a man should take your place on a team, should take your spot when you're talking about the actual end of these races and you're not finishing at the top spot, even though you're the top for the female. The whole thing is just this radical left's embrace of these ideologies that are not going to do well for them politically, and it's bad policy as well. And at its core, the desire to allow men to compete against women is so insane. There is a reason there is a WNBA and an NBA. Yep. Because if they competed at the same level, there wouldn't be two leagues, there'd just be one.
Right, and even in women's tennis, where the pay is somewhat comparable to men's sports, a little different as well, but the pay disparity is not as big, you still have separate leagues. Maybe that's one of the better examples, but you bring up a great point. I think it's also interesting, Morgan, that there's this lack of courage to actually just define what a woman is on the left. And the Daily Caller did a great job, I think. They reached out to 50 different Democrats to see if anyone was willing to offer a definition of what it means to be a woman, and they report that every single request sent to Senate Democrats to define what a woman was met with silence. Whatever happened to standing up for women, Morgan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. So I'm a conservative woman, and what the left likes to say about us is that we are problematic, John,
Yes.
because our views as conservatives are not only internalized misogyny, which they claim the men in our lives and whatever values we have, even though we are women, our values and our core beliefs hurt women, and so we are internalized misogynists. So try and keep up with me here on that one. But what they say is that we're problematic because our views don't align with them, and so of course they hate women. So it's really hilarious for me because I've been being called a misogynist for years by the left, and now they don't even want to define what a woman is. I just spoke at Colorado School of Mines, and I kid you not, the female Women's Club for Engineers on campus were who decided to protest me for misogyny and transphobia. All because I talk and promote women's fairness in competition with sports and in things like protection in women's bathrooms. But I digress.
And I remember growing up, there was such a push to get women into the field of engineering because it was such a high-paying job, and that was not a traditional role for women. And now here they are. Things do come full circle, Morgan. It's really amazing what happens on these college campuses sometimes. And irony does not even begin to describe what you just mentioned there. We also have this, Hogan. The left keeps saying it's not happening, but we keep having very specific examples where it is happening, where adults are trying to indoctrinate kids when it comes to sex. And for just $400, you could send your child to a Dragtastic summer camp. It's at the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle, of course. Sounds great. The camp description reads, calling all current and future kings and queens, explore self-expression in a week-long Dragtastic summer camp led by performer Joshua Hancock. You'll investigate drag history and work together with local artists to create your own personas. Drag history, Hogan, we can't even get U.S. history straight in this country, just basic U.S. history.
But again, it goes back to the same tethering to CRT like you talked about before, because the entire ideology of the left now is embracing these radical things. And the playbook simply is, we're going to do something radical. Then the right calls them out and says, we don't like it. The left says, wait a minute, that's not happening. And we say, yes, it is. And I said, well, it's very important that it happens. So in one
you
breath,
forgot the racist
it's
part.
not happening.
You forgot the racist part.
Right, of course. And then they tell you it's so vital that it is happening. This is permeating throughout our society, throughout our culture. The left has been waging a war on the right via the culture battles for years and years and years. And what you're starting to see is the right standing up and saying no more. And it's not just those of us on the ideological right. It's parents all across the spectrum. Yep. It's people who just embrace rational, realistic, logical thought, saying we're not putting up with this anymore. Everyone understands the differences here. We know you're trying to do it to our children. It's got to stop, and it's got to stop right now.
Now, the NCAA used to be the first organization to tell you about the benefits of girls playing sports, reducing teenage pregnancy, increased academics, increased self-esteem. But now, Morgan, what we see is actually the Biden administration, they want to radically upend Title IX, which is, really ensured that women's athletics exists on college campuses in many places. The Washington Post reporting that the Department of Education wants to finalize these new plans. And what it's going to do, Morgan, is extend these Title IX protections to transgender kids. It's going to completely erode any protection that women have when it comes to sports. And this is the future that the Biden administration and liberals want.
Yeah, I mean, this is really how you activate parents, how you activate the mama bears specifically, and you get people more involved in politics and community. Because a lot of people don't really worry usually about who gets elected to these higher offices. They're more focused on what's going on in their daily lives. And that's things like, dropping your kid off at school, sending them to go get a good, proper education and become a good person. And maybe do some after school sports and help them get some values, learn that there's some wins and losses in life. That's what school sports and really just childhood sports are all about. And so now the leftist politicians and the liberals are inserting themselves into the most innocent and fun and wholesome activities of a family life in America. And they're wondering why they're not doing well in the polls these days, because they are intruding in some of this stuff that really brings people together and really raises up good children. So we've got to draw a line, and this is what's going to activate a lot of people.
That's such an important point. Some of the most important things you will learn from life come from those hard losses and picking yourself up and doing again, getting back on the horse, as they say. Morgan, Hogan, great to see you both.